All right, so you officially decided you're going to move to California, whether you're being relocated or you just made the decision to move. There are a couple things that you really need to make sure that you keep in mind to make it a smooth transition and to avoid some unnecessary fees. And real quick, if you don't know me, my name is Dan Parker. I'm a real estate agent here in California, specifically in San Diego, but I put out all sorts of videos about moving to California, moving to San Diego, give you all the information that you need to know before you make the big move. And this is going to be my official relocation guide, starting with make sure you know how you're going to get around. Wherever you're going to be in California, make sure that you know how to get around because a lot of places you're going to need a car. There are specific areas like San Francisco, parts of LA, depending on where you're going to be in San Diego, that you might be able to get around with public transportation, but you really need to know this before moving there. How are you going to get from point A to point B? A lot of places in California are pretty spread out, so you really want to make sure that you have this dialed in. So talking about your car, if you are going to bring your car to California, you need to make sure that you pass a smog inspection. This is step number one of a couple of steps we're going to talk about. California has stricter emission standards than most states, so you need to make sure if your car was built after 1975, which is most people's cars these days, then you have to pass a California smog test and you need to get a certification until you move on to the next step, which is going to be proof of car insurance. Now, it was surprising to me that you don't actually need to have insurance to register your vehicle in all states. I mean, to be completely honest, I've only lived in California, so I don't really know it any other way. And obviously just make sure that you're budgeting this into your monthly expenses when moving out to California. All right, so let's real quick recap because you have 20 days when moving to California to register your vehicle. You also have 10 days after moving to California to get a California ID or California license. So make sure that you start with a smog check. Then you get your car insured, you get that quote for insurance. Then you want to book an appointment with a DMV if you can. The challenging part here is a lot of times they book up months in advance. So if you can't book an appointment, just expect to spend a couple hours at the DMV to get all of this stuff ironed out. You want to make sure that you hit these date requirements so that you don't incur any fees along the way. And next up is just knowing where you're going to live. Hopefully by now you know where you're going to live, but understand anywhere close to the beach is going to be expensive. Just going out in a lot of cases, 10, 15, 20 minutes away from the beach, a 20-minute drive from the beach is going to save you a lot of money. And know that things are, for the most part, pretty spread out in California. So if you're going to be driving to work, pay attention to what that commute is going to look like during the busiest hours of the day. The average time that someone spends in a car commuting to and from work every single day in California is an hour. And would really recommend to do the research. Make sure you know exactly how much time you're going to spend driving to and from work if that is something that you're going to need to do. And depending on whether you're planning on renting or buying, you really want to know what that timeline is going to look like. For rentals, a lot of times those places don't become available until weeks before, not months before. It's really hard to find rentals months before you're looking to move somewhere. And on the opposite end, buying a home might take you a couple of months, depending on what the market is looking like. So you want to make sure that you have your timeline dialed in. And if you're going to be buying, make sure that you get in touch with someone that can help you understand what that timeline is going to look like and help you along the way. And if you are going to be buying, do you have to sell your home at the same time you're going to buy it? Do you need the funds from that sale to purchase a home? If so, again, depending on what the market is looking like. But right now, today, my recommendation would be that you want to have a plan B, something else that you can do if the timing doesn't work out great, because it's not easy to buy a home right now. The timing of it is really, really challenging in California, especially here in San Diego. And what some of my clients are doing specifically is they're getting Airbnb rentals, like month-long Airbnb rentals, while they're searching for their perfect home. That gives them a little bit of extra flexibility. It makes the transition a little bit easier to not be so stressed out to go right into the place that you're going to be living, because for one, a lot of times they don't even know enough about San Diego to feel confident enough to purchase a house in a specific area. So it gives you a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra flexibility, and it might be something worth checking out. And when you do get into your home, you may want to consider earthquake insurance. A lot of other states, you don't have to worry about this, but California does have earthquake. And I'm not saying that you absolutely need to get it, but definitely make sure that you at least get a quote for it and figure out whether it's worth it for you or not to get that earthquake insurance. And the last tip is my absolute favorite. Prepare for visitors. People love visiting California, depending on where you're from, where your friends are from. They're going to want to come visit because, especially if you're close to the beach, if you're in a sunny area, who doesn't want to come visit California and enjoy everything that California has to offer? So whether you have a spare bedroom or need to get an air mattress, whatever you need to do, just know people are coming. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm a full-time real estate agent and part-time YouTube creator. So if you have any questions, my information is down below. If I can't help you out personally, I'll get you in touch with someone that can and someone that you can trust. So thanks so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.